Welcome to the Flow Network.
I had two friends who were on Instagram Live the other day, and I said something to them in the comments along the lines of like, I love y'all, or like y'all are beautiful people or something like that, like I'm proud of y'all or some shit. You know, some Trei shit that I would tell anybody because that's just who I am. One of my friends who was on the Instagram Live, his name is DJ, and the other one was Camo. DJ was like, yo, Trei, I always been meaning to ask you, bro, like, are you really like that positive? Like, is that just for show? Is that just like an image, or like what is that about? I know he's like the type of person to make like very sad music and, you know, have like some depressive captions on Instagram, which I respect because I think social media does need that balance of just like transparency. Some people don't want to be on social media when they're feeling sad or depressed about anything. They kind of just like disassociate. Social media is filled with highlights and just these like perfect images of an amazing life and stress-free living and shit like that. So I get it. I get what made him ask me that. But what was interesting to me was that like I've never in my life ever, even on this channel, anytime, at any point, have I ever preached like positivity. I've never done that. I've never in my life been like positive vibes, you know, good energy, positive vibes. I've never said no shit like that. So I was kind of just like taken aback by like the perception that he had of the content that I put out, because positive vibes and positive reinforcement and emphasis on being positive is something that I didn't even consciously refrain from or like, you know, set the intention on making sure that I didn't share with the world, but it just never genuinely felt whole to me to say that. It felt just very like one-sided. I never preached positivity because it was missing the other half of the yang to the yin, or the yin to the yang. Again, it wasn't a conscious thought. It just never felt right. Even before I started sharing content, I just never said that. But even sometimes my mom calls me and she'll be like, people really just love that positive energy. You know, I'm proud of you. Keep sharing that with the world. People just want that positive vibe that you give off. Even when she said that, it was just interesting because I was just like, oh, I didn't know I was like being positive. I thought I was just kind of being aware, and more than anything, preaching awareness of ourselves and also the world around us. And I guess that's quote unquote positive. I don't know. I really don't know. I preach awareness because awareness is just the truth, and I do think the truth is relatively positive, if you will. I think that's maybe why it comes off that way. That's only my assumption. You know, say if someone is like going through a tough time and you tell them like, okay, I understand you're going through a tough time, but this is just a lesson. This is a lesson to learn on your journey. Of course, to them, that would maybe sound like you're giving them a positive way of looking at it, but it's not really positive. That kind of is just like the truth, you know? Everything that we go through is something to grow through, you know? It's not just a positive reinforcement. It's not just a positive way of looking at things. I mean, it is a truth. Realizing that we are gods, that's not positive. That's not just positive. I mean, it can be looked at that way, but that's a wholesome concept. That is a wholeness understanding. That is an understanding rooted in divine balance. It's not just positive. That's also embracing the negative aspects of life too, because that's the balance, you know? You're appreciating the negatives, you're appreciating the failures, you're appreciating the rejections. You're taking that in and accepting that. You're not neglecting it, you're not avoiding it because it doesn't feel positive. So I think another I think what also led me to be as shocked as I was in response to people perceiving me to have this like positive image or like preaching positivity was, okay, so I'm just here to kind of renege a little bit on that exaggerated shock I so-called had in regards to people perceiving me as positive. because obviously it's like I'm like the embodiment of Black Boy Joy. Like I embody that shit. You know what I mean? I'm the purest example of what Black Boy Joy and happiness and that type of expression looks like. I share that shit all the time. Anyone who knows me for that. You know, I get it. I think I was just more so shocked that people thought my intention was in being positive, as if that was like what I was consciously putting out to the world, you know. But I'm not that shocked by the perception that people label it as positivity. I mean, I get it. I'm joyful, I'm expressive, I'm happy. I get it. So I kind of take back some of that shock. Like it makes sense as to where people get it from. What the fuck is that? The fact that which this is something that a lot of people don't know, and I was talking to my friend Corey about the other day, and she was, you know, genuinely concerned when I told her. But I am a very deeply sad individual. Like, I'm sad as fuck. I've been sad for a long time. Like, sadness is something that permeates within my being, and it's been that way for years, especially since like the beginning of my awakening period. It's just been there, you know. And it's not in a way where it's like oh, what's wrong, cheer up, like, you know, let's fix it, let's, you know. It's like there's nothing to have resistance to in response to it, because the sadness I feel is because damn, wait. Because the sadness I feel is an appropriate emotional response to the world we live in. I mean, just look at all the genocide that's taken place. Look at all the oppression that has happened to Black and Indigenous people. Look at all the unnecessary bloodshed, the wars, the torture, the rape, the colonialism, the people waking up every day having to work like 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to support themselves, just to be able to live. And I want to make a point that, like, I really don't put any conscious thought into worldly problems. It's not something I think about a lot. I don't really feed into the media when there's another case of like police brutality, or wake up just thinking like, oh my God, what have they done to the native indigenous people? Like, I don't just wake up and think about negative things that are taking place on earth. I actually really do spend a lot of my conscious time and attention giving life to what I actually do want to see manifest into the world. I make a conscious intention on being very selective with the things that I'm thinking about and the things that I'm giving a focus onto, because that's ultimately the reality in which I experience, in which we all experience as well, one by one, as we, you know, create the conscious thought behind what we envision. So yeah, I just have to say that it's just an emotional connection to the body of the planet. That's all it is. And I feel it and I recognize where it actually came from. But sadness is healing. Sadness is healing. So proceed the video. Yeah, bro, like, just look at the world we live in. Why would I not have some type of damn, you got back quick. I want to interrupt now. My emotional body is connected to the emotional body of the planet, and my emotional body is also connected to the emotional body of the human collective consciousness, and also my ancestors. So I mean, it's just there, you know. And it's not something I choose to resist or shame or like try to disassociate from, you know. I think any feeling is a good feeling to me. Just being able to feel and have emotions in general reminds me that I'm alive and I have life within me, you know what I mean? Like, I embrace all emotions. And honestly, joy and sadness are the same emotion, just on different parts of the spectrum. I'm just as joyous as I am sad. Like, that's what people see come from me often. They see that project out of me, just the joy, you know, the fun expression of happiness. Like, I get it, but that's there because also the sadness is there, you know what I mean? They come from the same part of the body. They come from like the pit of the stomach. When you laugh so hard, you cry. So it's like everything that's taken place in the human body, on Earth's body, I feel that connection to it. So yeah, I just had to clear up that misconception about who I am. I embrace the yin and the yang, the negative and the positive, the love, the light, the darkness, the shadows, the gratitude, the sadness, the despair, the grief. I feel it all. Feel it all at once. So that's what life's about. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with being positive if that's how you feel, because I enjoy the positivity. I just don't emphasize positivity. I emphasize wholeness. Thanks for watching.